So, Christmas 2017. I was 16 years old and I got my first MIDI controller. It came with a copy of Ableton Live Lite, and from there I just began to dabble with it. Since I had access to the internet as a kid, I've had exposure to all sorts of music. Keep in mind, I was 10 years old in 2011, so you do the math. I sort of came of age and discovered music during the golden age of modern EDM. Other than classical music, which I started listening to when I was 8 years old, electronic music was really the first kind of music that I found on my own and started to enjoy. So eventually, I asked my parents for a MIDI controller. I was excited to start producing, but I very quickly realized just how hard it was. Plenty of producers, like, just to name two popular ones, like deadmau5 or Virtual Riot, show their work on places like YouTube. Like, they'll show themselves working. And if you look at it and have no idea anything about production, it's like basically impossible to follow. It's extremely complicated, and it takes years to learn. I just started by doing simple stuff. Sequencing melodies, chord progressions, stock sounds. Eventually, I discovered the world of plugins. I perused sites like VST for free, and look for like freeware synthesizers and instrument sims. Eventually, coming around to learning how to use a wavetable synthesizer and starting to make my own sounds. I never took it too seriously over the years, but I did continue to dabble. Last semester, I had some opportunities to produce some electronic music in the music technology class, and I was pleasantly surprised to see how far I've come. So when I decided I was going to release some music this year, and I saw that the final for the composition was open-ended and required some kind of technology, I decided I was ready to give it a legit shot at making electronic music. So I will be formally announcing that I will be releasing music this year. Most likely this summer. This is the tentative album cover. Might change, but I'm looking at 5 or 6 tracks right now, all different styles of electronic music. Do I feel ready? No. Will it probably be fine? Yeah, probably fine. I sort of just need to realize that, you can just do things. I don't want to be afraid that it won't be great. I just want to kind of, get it someplace I'm happy with and get it out there, So without further ado, let's see a bit of what I've been working on. So this is the track called Fork in the Road. It's also the track I will be turning in for my composition final. So let's get into it. I decided on making this specifically because I recently downloaded like a free pack of Amen samples, and I wanted to mess around with it. If you don't know what Amen samples are, it's a sample from a song called Amen Brother in the 60s, and it's a drum part, and it's been sampled, recreated, all sorts of stuff like a million times. It's basically the entire basis of drum and bass and all of its subgenres, jungle, breakcore, stuff like that. So I naturally kind of started looking into that sort of style for it. So I'm not going to spend too much time on sound design and the really, really small details, because I'm going to bring a copy of the workspace on my laptop, and if anyone at the end of this presentation wants to ask specific questions regarding, how did you make that sound? How does that effect work, or whatever, I'll be able to just open it and go through whatever. But there are a few small things I wanted to share before playing it. So I'd say this main part here, which was the first part I wrote, at least this chord progression and some of the ideas were written years ago, like in high school. It had a different rhythm. But this is kind of the first thing that I wrote here. It's like interesting motion with the keyboard. And from there, when I decided that I wanted to write this now, I was able to kind of come up with, because that's an F minor, so I was able to come up with now, set that at the piano, and I was able to start messing around with some of these simple patterns. Like, if you really look at this, it's simple as in it's like a 1-4-5 type of deal. But it is, it's the rhythms. It's the rhythms that make it interesting. And I kind of did this Latin rhythm. Kind of brings it to life. And these, So obviously I did some correction and stuff like that and quantized it, but I did play this, and you can kind of get it adds a little bit of the life to it. And then this is the second part that I wrote on the piano. So you kind of get this rhythmic thing, and then you can eventually, that basically leads straight in, and it actually meshes really well with like the drum pattern. And then like the bass. This was the original pattern that was written with this original part when I first wrote it. So there's a lot of like interesting stuff about how this idea sort of morphed through the years, because it's been kind of sitting around forever, and I knew it was good, but it was like, what do I even do with it? But either way, I think it turned out pretty cool. So I think I'm just gonna run it. So that's the first track on this EP. I'd still consider this a rough draft, so it'll probably change a little more before I release it, but it's pretty close. I have 3 other tracks that are also mostly finished as well, and some other ideas floating around that I may try to finish for the final release. I'm usually the absolute worst when it comes to setting my own deadlines, so I hope I don't regret announcing this and it never happens. But considering I have a lot of it done already, it should be fine. So I don't really have much to add. So I'll just say thank you to Dr. Lay and to the 2 other students in my class. This last year has been kind of a weird time for me, and I've always looked forward to coming to this class, just hanging out, having discussions on all sorts of music, and, you know, the projects are exciting too. And it's just really gotten me more comfortable writing. So, you know, I look forward to all the things that I will continue to do, and I hope you enjoyed the video. See ya.